Hi, guys. Welcome to another exciting episode of Blue Collar Crypto. And I am here today with JG from Backbone Labs. And we're going to be talking about the B assets, the staking, the NFTs, and everything that they put together inside the Cosmos ecosystem. What makes them love the Cosmos and what brought them here and what they're working on. So I'm going to go ahead and introduce now JG.
Yeah. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing good, man. Doing good. So tell me about yourself, man.
Okay. Let's just, I guess, dive right into this. Uh, I'm a core participant of a protocol called Backbone Labs. Backbone Labs, what we are an NFT-fi protocol. Essentially, what we're doing is we have a liquid staking derivative, as you said, which is an auto compounding token. And we pair the management and revenue sharing aspects of that LST with an NFT community. And we've gone around and we've done this on quite a few chains now. And this is our model. And we go a step further. We have a marketplace, and our marketplace is an LST marketplace. So all the transactions that are taking place on the marketplace are in an auto compounding token. There are a lot of rippling effects using an auto compounding token. You're securing the network, being more capital efficient. Essentially, any sale that's posted for sale is auto compounding. So your asking price is going up every day, a little by little, right? So it's a capital efficient marketplace. But we could talk about each of these components. I don't want to just vomit everything in one sentence, but these are the ideas and pieces that we are playing with in kind of fusing culture and finance. You know what I mean? That's kind of what it's shaped up to be, right? Like, so Backbone Labs is really just a group of anonymous guys who came together from being in the Terra ecosystem and kind of having our imaginations be sparked there about what's possible and financial freedom and financial change and financial revolution, essentially, new technology. And the products that we have put together are they're brought forth because like-minded people have found common ground and passion in these topics, right?
Right. So how long have you been into the space in general? Like you talked about Terra Luna. Was you in the space back in the Terra Luna days? Was
Yeah.
Backbones a part of Terra Luna?
No. Okay. So Backbone is a byproduct of the crash. So I've been in crypto now as like a consumer for about 7 years. 7 years, right? Like, so I had a couple of years of like just totally being on the consumer side of things. 2021, I found my way into the Terra community, and the whole Do Kwon thing kind of really changed the way I viewed money. I was like, holy, like, this guy's kind of created like what the government has like right here. Like that kind of blew me away, right? That made me go on the rabbit hole of kind of learning a lot more about concepts of money. And then once you understand that, like, kind of what the money game is, and I'm still, I don't say I understand it, but like, I feel like I have a better understanding. You kind of feel like you've been cheated, right? That was my feeling once my eyes, like the scales kind of fell from my eyes. And I was like we've kind of been, we're financial slaves essentially to our government masters. That's been my feeling. So cryptocurrency and the counterculture is very appealing to me. It resonates with me, and it's an avenue that, it's not about circumvention, but it's about being able to have having something that you truly own that you can't be taxed on. Because if everything that you have, like your house, your car, they're taxing you, everything's tax, you never really have anything. And if you can't pay your tax, they take your house, right? I mean, it's wild. Like, you think about these things, and it's like, what does a person actually really own in their life? Like, there's really not that many things that somebody can own. And so the whole Terra thing happened. We did well. I got into NFTs. That was a really fun activity because, that goes into community building. And once you have a community that can do something together, I mean, that's where the magic can happen. That's all a government is a community that can do something together, right?
Right.
So all these components kind of are what attracted me into participating in the space and trying to organize, create energy. And again, it comes back to like understanding what money is. And it's not even really money, but it's like human interactions or transactions. Everything's kind of transactional, right? Everything, you can kind of break everything down to like a very transactional uh, format. So, and then once you understand, like once I could see it in that manner, I was able to see certain patterns. And from that, it's all about energy, right? Like, how do we come together, and where's the real value? It's like it's almost like it becomes down to like the energy is where like the value is, especially in these NFT communities, right? Like if the energy hits right, then all of a sudden you have like these magical moments of like of value, right? And then it's through belief. Like there's all these crazy concepts we can start to talk about. These are the things that brought me into crypto, like, that really like solidified the fact that like I was like, this is really what I want to do.
Tell me, what is your feeling about money? Like, what is your perception then, and what is it now?
Well, I used to think of like money was a store of value, but it's not, right? Like they can keep printing it, and it's not really something that's secure, right? So like it made me start thinking of like how do I make my life secure? How do I make my family secure? How do I feel like I'm actually doing something that isn't just being stolen from through the back door? That's how I feel, right? Frustrating, especially being younger and trying to get ahead. I feel that the state of the world is really needs crypto because the powers that be have abused our money system, which is an abuse of the trust, right? Money's a tool. That's really all it is. It's a tool for experience, right? It's a tool that saves time. But it's a tool. You know, the dollar is a tool. Because is it really valuable? I mean, you can just light it on fire. I don't know what you do with it, right? Right? Bitcoin to me, actually, gold and Bitcoin have much better value properties. Like when we talk about value, like the dollar's not valuable, but it's transactional.
It's propped up with a belief system that you be able
Right.
to use this,
Transact it. Yeah.
and then it's
Yeah.
and then it's propped up by military.
Right. But is the individual dollar actually valuable? Not so much, right?
Oh,
What is
yeah,
value?
yeah. So I like
But
to
now
tell.
but we're discovering what value is together, even right now. Like currently, like we're watching it unfold. Like there's the debate about gold and Bitcoin currently like happening right before our eyes. And with these strategic reserves, like the whole perception, the belief system is like changing like right before our eyes. It's wild. Like
Yeah,
we're in a pretty crazy time right now.
I tell people all the time, like my definition of money is the store of value of other people's time or my own time. Like
For
the like
sure.
how, yeah, like how I the things I do, the things I contribute to society or to life in general, my family, like that's being stored in a sense of value. And whenever you have a government like like our government that sits there and prints and prints and prints money and it debases it and it has
Yeah,
no yeah.
totally. And it's essentially stealing your time again, taking it back,
Mhm.
which is wild.
Yeah, not to get political, but did you see the tweet the other day where Chuck Schumer was on the View and he said, "How dare these greedy Americans want to pay less taxes?" Have you seen
That was
that?
wild. I saw.
God, I mean that. I just sit there and I said, I can't believe he called us greedy Americans for wanting to keep our own money that we work for. That's while he prints it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the thing is, it's like, there's been other times in our nation when, we've been in the black. We had like when Clinton was in office, and not that Clinton did anything, we had the internet boom, which left a lot of money, right? So we could have been responsible from right there. But so only in like the last like 20 years did the irresponsibility really occur. And that's like the Chuck Schumer, Nancy, like that's like the Kevin McCartney, like there's a certain bracket on both sides. Both sides are guilty of like allowing like this bullshit to occur. And they've printed a ridiculous amount of money. And so they can't even blame it on like anything but themselves at this point. And it's only within the last like 20 years because we had a gift of the internet bubble and we were totally in the black when Clinton left off. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah, I do. I exactly know what you mean. And the sad story of it is we're going to continue to print money. They're going to continue to uh, no matter what tariffs you put on, no matter what thing bills or payments you stop. The Federal Reserve at the end of the day is still going to print money because they have no money.
Okay, well, look, here's the thing. This is why we need a store of value outside of it, right? This is why cryptocurrency speaks to us. This is why we're having this conversation, right? This is the whole root of it. And this is why this is a look, I think, and the thing that I think the part that really I think gets to me the most right now in the current market condition is that it's a lot of people don't realize that it is a financial movement. They're just talking about, oh, it's just an asset, it's this, it's that. It's like, no, bro, it's like you need to understand. And if you're not on the same page of like this is more than just like, oh, I'm just gonna speculate. No, man. People need to come on board because there's no, like you said, they're going to keep printing that money. Every government's going to keep abusing this power, but it doesn't mean that what is the choice that the little guy has? is that we can rally together and put some belief into something else, and just then that is the system, right? Like that is the system. They need us to stay dependent, but if we can come together into a different belief system, well, then like Bitcoin did succeed, cryptocurrencies do change the world, and then all of a sudden, like a bunch of shackles do fall away from more or less not shackles, less hands are reaching in our pockets,
Yeah.
taking out the back door, right?
Yeah. I mean, because like if you look at it like the wealthiest people in the world, they don't have dollar bills in their bank account. They have assets. They have gold,
Yeah,
they have companies, they have only
yeah,
poor people save money
have,
or save
yeah,
dollars that get printed
exactly.
off and get inflated. Yeah.
Exactly. That's like the ultimate trick, especially when they went off the gold standard, right? Like that's when it started to kind of get wonky. But
Yeah, there's a book, man, that changed my whole on perception on life. It's called "What the Hell Happened in 1971." I mean, it's a really great book. Talked about when we got off the gold standard and how we just kind of changed as a country.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean,
So, what made you
it's
want to?
frustrating.
Yeah, to say the least. So, what made you get into Backbone Labs? Like, how did that all start?
Okay, so I was heavily into Terra. I was doing all the games, DeFi games. I was using Anchor. I was playing on Mirror Protocol. I was using a lot of different leverage, and I got lucky. I got into Terra at a pretty good price, and I was able to leverage on the way up. Right, so it was kind of a crazy experience. Like I got to ride a good ride up while using leverage. You know what I mean? Like it was really crazy. I was like, whoa, this is insane. You know, and but I mean, the flip side is I rode it all the way back down. Round trip, round trip. I took a round trip. You know, um, but I think what happened is while I was doing that, and the communities were so engaging, and the spaces were so mentally stimulating that I was like, well, I definitely don't want to go back to the drudgery of not participating, not trying to push this movement forward. It's kind of what it came down to. I was like, what can I do to contribute to spread the word, right? And so that's where NFTs kind of resonated with me because I mean, who doesn't like pixel art and who doesn't like games and activities and who doesn't like to do stuff with their friends who are also and it's crazy. Like I mean, you end up meeting some of the best people I've ever known is through these projects that I participated in and just engaged in even as retail, right? And you're like, oh damn, this is really cool. And you end up like chatting for a while and like you end up like really like learning a whole different aspect of like anything, right? The whole world is so open in so many ways. I mean, also it can be pretty crazy, but there's a lot of like really amazing opportunities in this Web3 internet world that is being created. Monetary and just kind of just a knowledge, just these interactions can be really powerful.
And some of these conferences I go to, like I went to Consensus last year, but when I go to those conferences, man, I feel alive. I feel like I'm around a bunch of people who had the same beliefs I do, whose eyes are open and kind of see like the revolution and kind of see what's happening in front of us. Like I really enjoy being in the spaces. And that's one reason why I started this podcast was so I can talk about what I love all day long.
No, right? Because I mean that's the secret. Because if you do what you love, then you're not really working,
I'm doing
right? That's
I'm doing that's the secret of
right.
life.
That it really is like make work not feel like work is do what you love, right? Totally. And
Yeah.
I think I lucked out into that too. So okay, so a little bit of the backstory is Terra was ripping, the Galactic Punks and the Luna Bulls. These projects just came out. I got in on the Luna Bulls. I missed the Galactic Punks on the Mint, but I ended up getting in those communities. And then Skeleton Punks came out, and again, it was the craziness of Terra. Everything was just going up, 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 right? And then I ended up joining Skeleton Punk team after the Mint from like brokering a different deal, and they were like, "Hey, do you want to help us?" And I was like, "Yeah, that's cool." And so for 2 months, like I helped that, but our founder rugged that project. That was like a pretty shitty experience. Like right after joining the team, he like rugged the project, right?
Mm.
And
Yeah.
but the flip side is we tracked him down. We tracked him down and we froze his royalties because we on chain proof that of his actions. And we went to the marketplaces and we were like, look, this guy did this, and they were like, oh, that's messed up. So they gave the control to the other founder at the time because there was two founders, and we pushed forward, right? We pushed forward, and the project recovered. And then that's when the crash happened. Was after that first recovery, right? So we kind of got wrecked twice, but but I kind of just knew that I didn't want to give up. And ironically, we were once I joined the team, the Skeleton Punks, I on my own was trying to figure out how to make like a an OTC, like an NFT, like OTC, right? Platform, something small. And because I had these plans in order, when Terra crashed, they put out an emergency builders grant, and I applied with I had all the stuff that they needed. I had everything that was required to apply because I was doing it already, right? And they awarded us 26,000 Luna at the time, and that kind of allowed me to partner with a developer and get NFT Switch going and built up, right? So and then from NFT Switch, we were able to some of that money we were able to use to pay to migrate the skeleton punks and get everything in order. And we were able to bring them over and save the collection and go to Terra 2. And then once we had the skeleton punks migrated over and we did the NFT Switch platform, but we're kind of like, well, how do we make this more relevant? What do we do? Like, it's just an NFT community on its own. Sometimes it's hard, especially for the long haul, right? So, and then this concept of like Backbone Labs came about because we found out that LST we had some access to contracts and developer for these LSTs, and like these pieces just kind of started to fall into place. But like it was all very serendipitous. Like we were very fortunate. I say fortunate, like we just suffered a crash, but happened to have all the things needed to apply for a grant. Did I think we would get a grant? No, I didn't. And a lot of people get grants and they don't do anything with them, right? But like we've managed to, I mean, we put everything into it. We put more than our grant into this for sure because it takes that. But it's been very rewarding because, like you said, if you're doing what you love and it doesn't feel like it's taking from you and you don't mind, you're looking forward to it. You're looking forward to it, right? So yeah, so the skeleton punks were the first backbone, I guess, community because that's where the founding members all met was in the skeleton punk community.
I don't know another project that has the ability to, when you buy the NFT, that you're actually earning rewards from the staked asset. Like I don't know of a single project that has that, and I think that, I mean, you are the first movers on that I know of. I could be wrong
Okay, so
with
here's the
somebody
thing. No,
else.
so a lot of there's a lot of projects that have that, but what is the token they're giving you is the thing. So the projects that manage grave diggers on these different chains, they're earning the L1 token because of the auto compounding of the LST, right? So that's kind of makes them kind of special in a sense, but there are a lot of projects that actually give some type of reward, but it'll be their own strange token that nobody cares about, and it is like just going straight to zero, not the L1, right? So like I was gonna say like so B Luna gets Luna, B Osmo produces Osmo rewards. Actually, for Osmo, they convert the Osmo rewards into Lab, and they distribute Lab, right? And then uh, the Galactic Syndicate will be getting injective. We're almost at the threshold to start to release that. But there's a lot of projects, but that's not reinventing the wheel. But what we do have, and I think this does kind of make it special, is the LST that Backbone produces. We don't extract any value from that. Like I don't know of any other LST anywhere that doesn't take value. Now, so what do I mean by that? On the auto compounding aspect, so if you put 100 osmosis into the gravedigger and you have B Osmo, and every day that thing is auto compounding. Now every day it auto compounds 90, take 10%, but we give 100% of the 10% to the managing community of the NFTs, right? So like it's going not to Backbone, it's not going to the protocol, right? Where every other protocol that's using that's auto compounding, they are actually taking a fee for themselves. We don't do that. We're trying to support chain activity, having the money go to the NFT holders, right? So I think that kind of sets us apart as a community good, and a lot of people don't see that or they don't understand that.
So tell me about NFT Switch.
Okay. NFT Switch is just a safe space. Like, so say, we're talking about being online friends, right? And you can know a person for a while online and you think you know them. And maybe you want to, make a deal and you want to swap. But then you're at the mercy of, doing a three-way deal or using a middleman, or you got to just trust them. Like, oh, I'm going to send you this $400 NFT, but, send me the money, right? And there's been plenty of times where people get burned and there's plenty of times when people get scammed, right? So NFT Switch is a place where like say we're Discord friends, and I'm like, hey, blue collar, you want to buy this? And you're like, yeah. You're like, okay, I'm going to set the sale right now, NFT switch. But it's not an open sale to anybody else but you. Like you would, I'd be like, hey, what's your wallet? And you'd say, oh, it's this. They send it over. I copy it and paste it, and I set you as the only that wallet as the only pickup wallet. Like you would be the only person who could see the sale. It's not a public sale. It's just a safe place where like crypto friends can make their own deals and be safe. And there's no royalties because again, it's not an open sale. It's not an advertised sale.
So tell me more about the bonded assets. Y'all have B injective, B loon.
Yeah. Yeah. So okay, so right. So right now, currently active LSTs, we have one on Osmosis, we have one on Terra, we have one on Injective, and we have one on Chihuahua. And we're gonna get ready to make. We're gonna do an Atom LST in a little bit, and our friends at Dungeon Chain have a token and a chain, and we would do one for them as well if they want that. But our next big one, I think, is going to be on Atom. But that still will be like a couple months away because of the way that the way that I shouldn't say too much. They have certain parameters that are changing that we need to wait. That's all I'll say.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what is it like the criteria if a project wanted to have a bonded asset or a B asset? What is the criteria like? What makes it worth it on y'all's end?
Well, I mean, so I guess people could come to us and request that we do it for them, but this whole and again the whole market's changing so fast. We Backbone, we've done all this on our own, just like anonymous community members. There's six team members, and I've only met one face to face, and with every other five, we've never had a video call in the whole 4 years. Only, you know what I mean? Like, so we don't even know what each other look like, except for me and one guy, right? Isn't it wild? So Backbone, we worked on chains that we like, right? Like we're enthusiasts. It's not. We don't want to just make and launch vaporware. That's why Backbone doesn't mint a lot of collections. That's why we turn away a lot of people who ask to do stuff. A lot. I get a bunch of DMs, and it's like it comes from. It's hard to say no because a lot of people really want to try, but if you don't have some way to show that that you're in this for the long haul, or you're gonna like really try to do what you're gonna, right, or you have a good roadmap, right, you got to like really have something. Otherwise it's like I don't want the community to get hurt. I don't want to just be minting stuff just to mint shit. That doesn't make sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
But so where Backbone is at, so our next thing is Atom, and it's not because Atom's saying, hey, they're not like kicking our door down and saying, do this here right now, right? But it's us. We're like, we want to help Adam. That's part of the thing. Like we love Terra, so we wanted to help Terra try to rise from the ashes. We really think Osmo is a great product, and it's like one of the best dexes. We want to bring eyes to that. We think Injective is a lot of fun with all their new DeFi products with Helix, and now they have stocks, right? So like these are the things that like Backbone wants to be a part of. Like I know we have a protocol, but like in a lot of ways, Backbone is almost kind of retail too, because like we're participants. Like we really participate. We're not trying to sit on the sidelines and just not help the cause, right? That's how we feel. I mean, that's how I feel about it.
So tell me about y'all's acquisition into the Dungeon Chain.
Really good. Yeah, so we're really good friends with those guys. So again, Dungeon Chain, they're validators, and they've been doing their thing for a long time, grinding it out on Juno and on Atom, and just really like, for the love of, again, like we resonate, like that spirit of like, of trying to spread like what this is about. Like they have that also, right? And so we ended up meeting these guys, and they did their own stuff with like Ash and Guppy and all kind of merged together. They had a bunch of different pieces that merged together that kind of created Dungeon Chain. And we did the White Whale guys, like these were all a bunch of really good guys. And that's how we met. And once they got their chain live, and they realized that they were going to do their own chain because of the gaming aspect, then they were like, well, shit, we need a marketplace. And Backbone's designed to actually just quickly deploy these things and let them operate if they need them, right? So, it was kind of a no-brainer. I really want those guys to succeed. I'd be great. It'd be really great.
Yeah.
So we want to help. We want to help.
When I think of Cosmos, Zane over there, like when I think of Cosmos spirits, and when I think of somebody who's Cosmos aligned, like I think of Dungeon Chain, because Like I remember being in Discord when they were trying to when they got into the active set of Atom and then got bumped
Yeah.
down and got bumped down. I remember being like, okay, well, I could pull out some money from this account and get back at buy some Atom and
How do we
stake
rally?
it.
How do we rally?
Yeah,
It's
how
like
do we
how do we
rally?
rally? Yeah,
Yeah,
how do we rally? Yeah. That's why you need a community. That's why you need a community, right? That's why you gotta
exactly.
rally. You
Yeah,
know? Why you gotta
exactly.
rally. I know. It's
And then
crazy though.
and then now look at them. I mean, they are the definition of boots on the ground hustling.
Yeah. Awesome. Right. And that resonates with me. So it's an easy move for us to then take some of our resources to try to assist them. To me it feels like a good move, right?
Yeah,
Feels like a good move. So we're gonna let them leverage our marketplace. We're gonna put it up for them. We're gonna index their sales, and we're gonna help them with an explore. We're gonna do a couple things that just try to make their life a little easier. And we NFT Switch is one of the validators for the chain. Like we're really trying to help out as much as we can. But it's all for me. That play right there is because of where their heart's at. That's like straight up because those dudes are hustlers and they really love what they're doing and it rubs off. It makes me start it's contagious. It's contagious, right? That's the thing. It's
yeah.
contagious. It's like positive contagion. It's good.
That's for sure. That's for sure. So I became really good friends with Kalabi over the last year or so, and so I was talking to him before the call, and he was like, "I need to ask you, how many cups of coffee does it take you to get started?" I'm doing. I'm doing.
Oh, me?
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah. I might as well have like an IV in coffee. I'm not even joking. And my sleep is so weird. Like I'm pretty sure I'm an insomniac. I think I only sleep like 3.5 hours a night. It's pretty bad. I
Same.
don't know
Yeah.
what it is. And as I've gotten older, I've gotten a little older. I don't know what it is. Right? It's like I try to go to bed early, and sometimes I get lucky. I can fall asleep at like 11, but then I wake up at like 2:30 in the morning. Right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then sometimes I fall asleep at like 3 in the morning, and then I wake up at 6, and it's like the same thing. It's like doesn't matter like when I went to sleep. I'm getting like this 3.5 hour window of fucking sleep. But then so then I need that coffee.
Yeah. He told me, he said, make sure you ask him how many cups of coffee it
Oh my
takes
god.
for
You
him
know
to get
what?
high. Yeah.
Yeah. It takes me like to go like 3 or 4 to really get going, right? Warm it up. Get that. Boom.
Yeah. So who's responsible for like all that amazing artwork that you guys do over there?
Okay, so I mean the NFTs. Remember, all the NFTs are their own artists, right? It's not a singular person. Do you mean like for our website? That's a different story. But the artwork for the NFTs is definitely for each project has their own art guy, right? So if Mr. Fox did Syndicate, Kudo was the mastermind behind the art behind the Mad Scientist. The Skeleton Punks. Well, unfortunately, remember that project originally got rugged, and so the artist in my opinion, about that one is no good. But we saved the art.
I'm doing. Okay.
He's a piece of
Yeah.
shit. We hate a piece of shit, but the art's great. So it's kind of a weird dynamic. And then, but some of the other projects that we have on Backbone, like, Cheeks did the lion now. I really love I love that pixel art. I love those little pixel lions. That's a great project. I really like pixel lions a lot. And there, this is the other thing. I really want to save the Migaloo whales art, and I think that we will end up migrating them to Atom because I think that's where the whale token is going to migrate to, right? And we want to make sure that we preserve that, so we'll take care of that. And the tomatoes will also go to Atom. But yeah, and I really love Bambino's art. I like the Migaloo whales and the
Yeah.
tomatoes. They're funny.
Yeah.
The enterprising tomatoes are funny. If you know carrot history, they're funny. They are a gem at TFL for sure. you know? So,
Yeah, I have a couple of the Migaloo whales. I think they're still staked on Dowdow, I think, or they're still
yeah,
over there. Yeah, I think they're still staked over there. But yeah, that's a pretty cool artwork. I like those, and that's
yeah.
interesting knowing that you guys are trying to preserve it. That's nice, man.
Yeah, well, I mean, look, just because Migaloo's winding down, right? We want to preserve. It's still fun. It's still fun, and the whale project's still there, and the token's gonna live. It's just not gonna. It doesn't need its own chain. So, and it's expensive to run a chain if you're not. It's a lot. It's a lot to pay a chain that has 50 validators. You know what I mean? That it becomes a thing.
Yeah,
So
I believe like they had the best intentions at heart, and they knew what they were doing. But I just think it was. I think if we were in a different market, I think it would have succeeded. Like the bear market, it's really kind of took a toll on a lot of projects, in my opinion.
yeah. Well, I mean, look. Here's the thing. This is one of the things that we're going through. Not like me. We. I mean, like all the crypto market, the Cosmos market. is there's a lot of general purpose chains that really don't have an identity, right? And not that they can't fix that, right? But the chains that don't establish an identity are going to struggle, right? And so, they started Migaloo at the direction of Do Kwon wanting to show off the alliance module. And could you imagine if Do Kwon wasn't arrested? I think Migaloo would be crazy, right? If Do Kwon was home, right, and he was saying, "Hey, like, let's start your own chain, let's do this together," because that's what he asked for, right? It would be a whole different. We would be having a whole different conversation.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, again, but again, and I think, but regardless of it working out or not working out, I think the biggest lesson that I learned from the last Terra crash is that even when something doesn't work out, that just leads to a different kind of an opportunity. And like we're seeing that happen right now. They're tweaking what needs to happen. They're wanting to change them, and now there's a bunch of dexes that are actually doing transactions. And if there's not the sell pressure of the validators, does that kind of course correct itself right there? Boom, right? All of a sudden, there's all this, I guess, sort of weight that's not necessary for the projects at its core, if it doesn't need to be a chain. So it could be for the best, I don't know. It's not even a big deal.
Yeah, that's true.
It's not a big deal.
That's true. Because it's still going to run the decks when it comes to just going to be running it off the hub, right? That's how it's going to work?
Yes, yeah. It's going to run off the hub, and it's going to try to add value to Atom, right? Which is a great dynamic, right? Because now the Atom community, what if the Atom community starts to look at Whale as Terra used to look at Astro. Astro was pretty popping. You know what I'm saying? Like it needs a bigger community because it provides a great service. It has great decks, has a bunch of decks. But now if there are a bunch of decks on a bunch of chains, right, and they're bringing and their token lives on Atom, that's going to bring a value accrual to Atom, right? So then now all of a sudden they're no longer on their own, and I think that kind of will be a game changer in itself.
So what do you think the biggest hurdle is for like the Cosmos ecosystem in general? Like what do we need to pull ourselves up by the bootstraps and just kind of succeed, get out of this bear market we're in?
Well, I think a couple things. I think that we are still kind of isolating. I hate to say it, like I love Kepler Wallet, right? But like, why are we not in Phantom Wallet? Why are we not in MetaMask Wallet? Why are these other wallet providers, much bigger providers, not carrying our the Cosmos, right? Like, how do we? That's kind of like where we need people to, right? Like, I think that would actually be huge if we could get that to be occurring. Imagine how many more people would say, "Oh yeah, fuck, I could just buy this." It'd be the same thing as buying ETH on a Stex and sending it to your MetaMask. You just buy ETH, buy Atom or Osmo or whatever on the Stex and send it to your MetaMask, right? And then all of a sudden it's the same experience, right? But right now it's like this whole other thing. It's like still like, and if people aren't used to it, then it's like they don't want to do all that. I think that's kind of still a barrier of entry, right?
I'm coming in from like a user experience. I've never heard of Kepler. And I don't know. I don't want to put my private keys into a wallet that I don't know. You know what I mean? Like I'd rather not even deal with the ecosystem if I have to import a whole. I mean, it's just for my security. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%, 100%. And then the other thing is marketing. Like I think we've had pretty bad marketing in the Cosmos. We got this great tech. We've had all this fun, slick shit. We have all these brainiac, fucking super geek nerds who are smarter as shit, but shit marketing, right? Like that's what it is.
I guess when it comes down to like even if it's not like the podcast or like even if it's not the content I create, like to be able just to get the Cosmos ecosystem and some of these amazing projects, you know what I mean, like Akash and you guys and Crypto
Love
Dungeon.
Akash. I think that's a great project.
You know what I mean? Like
that project.
How do I take their product and present it in front of more exposure to people who are outside of Cosmos? Like that's the idea, is to bring in and bring.
Right. Yeah, look, I think the only thing that we can do is, you continue to make your own content. You continue to participate in the projects that you feel passionate about, and you continue to bring your energy, because to me, that's like the most attractive thing. Like when someone comes and with like the right vibes, I'm like, hey, let's do stuff. Right. All of a sudden people start getting ideas because like people are like, oh, we're having fun. Oh, let's do some shit.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I really do. I love Akash though. I think that's, I'm happy you brought that up. It is a lot of chains struggle, right? Because it's like, what are they actually doing? Right. But Akash kind of did it in the reverse. They built an economy, a cloud compute economy with absolutely no smart contracts, no DeFi, no nothing, right? Like it's just, and it frustrates the shit out of me because I want to do some of our activities. I would love to do that on Akash because I can see the problem they're addressing, and they're kind of in a great place right now with real revenue. Like they're like crunching away like $15,000 to $20,000 in people renting their compute power to do these LLMs. And as AI continues to grow, we're going to hit that energy crisis in a couple of years, and then the decentralized compute power will. I mean, if we don't adapt it, we're going to hit a roadblock essentially, right? A energy roadblock. So so I can clearly see the value metric in what they're building. If now, okay, so now if they have general purpose functionality, does that become a winner like right away? I think it could, right? I think Sentinel kind of has that ability because they're like a VPN
Yeah.
token, right? Like, so they have real users with like a real economy, right? That has nothing to do with just dexes or trading or anything. So they could actually, if they added that, that's exciting to me, right? That's kind of what I really want to occur.
Yeah. Jackal too.
You know,
uh,
Jackal too. They're another one that has like the potential of having a real economy and that's not dependent on like user speculation, right? It's not about speculating on because whether any of those tokens are up or down, they're providing a service that those tokens are requiring. And like especially for a cost token price is down, but their revenue is still the exact same. It's still 15,000, right? It just takes more cost to pay the bill. That's all it
yeah.
is,
Yeah.
right? So they're still generating the same levels of revenue regardless of their token price, which is crazy. And if the metric of the energy consumption is going to keep going up, let's just say that in 6 months, like they're now producing 30,000. Let's say another 6 months, it has a big boost. Now they're up $100,000 a day in real revenue. Is it cost still going to be $1 Probably not. Right. Right now, if they open up the general purpose functionality of DeFi, of DEXs, of NFT marketplaces, does that create a crazy flourishing economy? Especially because they're also going to have like DeFi AI, like where the agents are like doing the trade. It's going to be wild. And again, same thing with Sentinel, the same thing with Jackal. Like these projects definitely have their own real economies, right? Now, and then Injective, Injective's pretty interesting because they have all these crazy, DeFi and RWA pooling and like big fast products, right? And they're getting into stocks, which is pretty wild. So they have a niche also that's completely separate.
You can actually trade stocks on Injective right now.
Yeah, it's dope, right? Like so that's what I'm saying. Like they're actually going to be those platforms and Injective will be profitable because of the activities that they offer are basically TradFi in the DeFi world, right? So they'll be producing again. They'll have an active economy. But I mean, I love the Cosmos, man. I really do. I really do.
So are you guys going to having like future announcements when it comes to like different projects you guys are teaming up with? Is there like anything to look out for?
Yeah, actually, one of the things that's going to happen is, the Chihuahua chain they're a fun group of guys, to be honest. Like, and they are, Chihuahua they are survivors,
Yeah.
right? It's like they have outlasted very many chains, and they are a lot of fun, and they have, some great meme stuff happening over there, and they had a great digger for a long time. But, we are now at a point where we're getting ready. We have a collection that has been prepared for them and the team, and announcements will be coming out soon. And then after that, we will have that launch on on Dungeon Chain, which will be probably in just a couple of weeks, right? It's like to have the marketplace and stuff and activity starting to occur. And there's actually another collection. It's ironic that you speak about Akash. There's a collection that's kind of brewing in the background. It's just kind of bring attention to it. It's not a grave digger, but like we said, like we like to bring awareness to projects that we love, right? So we want to allow people to have some art that represents maybe Akash, right? So we're trying to figure out like where we can do something like that as well.
Well, JG, you got? Did I miss anything? Like, anything you want to share?
Oh, I don't think so. So we just want to keep getting this message out there. We want to keep the crypto. We want to keep like the crypto punk like feeling alive, right? Like I want to make sure that we don't get too washed out in the corporate world as people start to adopt crypto, right? And like I kind of feel like the heart and soul of crypto is kind of at stake this cycle, because as the governments come in and as the companies come in, they're going to try to hijack what the fuck this is about, and they're going to try to sell you a different narrative. But the real narrative is that this is freedom, right? This is like a fight for freedom, and we don't want to just buy. Now, don't get me wrong. Like I bought Trump token, but don't put your life savings in Trump token. Like I bought that shit early and I sold, right?
I'm doing.
Right? Like, but then there's other stuff like Bitcoin. Yeah, Bitcoin is different, right? There's other things that are different. To me, Atom has the potential of being different too, right? It stands for something. A bunch of these other projects, it can stand for something, and for me, it's freedom, right? So I just want to make sure. I kind of think that's what Backbone really like trying to stand for, and we try to like make sure that message isn't lost. I know some people don't like the dead theme, but we've been dead. We've been killed, right? And you can't kill what's dead. And we're not looking for glory and fame. We're just looking for like-minded people who feel the same way that we do, so we can make sure this revolution continues.
So how does people find out about more about you guys? I'm gonna have the links into the website and to X, and I'll even share the Discord link if you like. But is there any other places that these guys can check out and get more involved in the community?
Probably those are the best ways right now. But it's yeah. There's Telegram chats too. If people just get in, just come into these rooms, just say hi. You'll be met with warm welcomes, and if you have ideas or if you have art, and again, like we would love if any artists out in the Web 2 world looking to make their way into the Web 3 world who have some Web 2 presence, because that's what we're looking for. It's like we don't want everybody to be doxing themselves, but if you have some type of platform that you built and we see that you're like, oh, this person has some value in their platform because they've worked really hard, they're not gonna just fuck it off by doing something bad to the community. That's always, right? So if people are, we want to support artists, we want to support creators, but it can't just be like some rando from Thailand who has one follower on Twitter. You know what I mean? Like that, we get a lot of those.
Yeah. I can imagine.
Yeah.
Now, I was gonna ask you. There was a time ago. I remember that you guys had talked about a soul token. Is that still?
Oh yeah.
Still in like the near future or the future?
100, yeah, yes, 100%. Right. So, because we were really close with Whale Miglu, and we were gonna do it there. That was our original plan when we first made the announcement for the token in our project. It's a good thing we waited, right? Good thing we waited.
I'm doing.
But yes, I'm in discussions with a few different founders, and I've actually spoken to one recently, which is we're trying to lean forward. I don't want to announce what this is, but the Soul token will be launched, and it will be launched on L1 that is very robust, and we will help add value and try to bring the cosmos together as best as we can. Right? That's our goal. Our goal is to unify the cosmos. That's always been our goal, and so I don't want to say what chain it is right now because everything's not finalized. But I think we know where we're gonna go, and the Soul token is coming up. People have been patiently waiting for that. But again, it's like could you imagine if we rushed it and we did everything like just because people were impatient? Like, oh, we're impatient too. Don't get me wrong, but like we don't want to do it and like hurt anybody. That would just be irresponsible. And again, like we don't want to. We're not doing this for a cash grab. We're doing this because we think that we have an opportunity to maybe actually create a store of value out of like a culture-fi situation, which could just, I don't know, if it works, it'd be fucking mind-blowing. Right?
Yeah.
It could be really cool.
So I just want to make sure that I have my understanding right when it comes to the Soul token. So it's going to be equivalent to Stride, like the Stride token. You have your staked asset, but then you have a governance token that runs pretty much the
Sort of. So here's the difference.
Okay.
Sort of. So there's this. I don't know all the components of Stride, but so the Soul token is a hard cap token, 10 million supply when we do it. And what will occur is right now the gravediggers and the NFT communities that's where the revenue share is. But when the Soul token comes into existence, it won't be 100% of the revenue to the NFT communities. There'll be a split, right? It'll go to 40% will go to the Soul token stakers, 60% will stay with the NFT communities, right? And what will happen is that when the auto compound happens, then on every chain, so say there was 10 chains doing these B assets, right? So 40% of all the commissions would be directed to going to the Soul token stakers, right? So you stake your Soul and you would get like the 10 different assets, right? You see what I'm saying? So you would get like a basket of assets from your Soul token. being staked.
And then every asset that gets added on afterwards, you would also get as well, right? So like if you were to
Yes,
do like a
more
Jackward or
grave diggers later.
Kosh, yeah, more, yeah,
Yeah,
you
yeah. Yeah.
interesting.
And right. So and then we could do and because if you think about it, so wait, with Kuji, if you stay Kuji, remember you got like all the different trading pairs, the revenue from all the different trading pairs.
Yeah,
Did you participate?
I
Okay.
did.
So think about it like that. It's like you stake your all the different assets that we have gravediggers for. That's what the soul stakers would earn. Right. And then we could take it a step further. We make a soul gravedigger, and then people who wanted to stake their soul, they could auto compound their soul by the gravedigger would sell all the assets that are coming in and buy soul off the open market. And now because this token, because we're not a chain and we don't have inflation, like eventually there would become an inflection point in the value metric because there would only be so much of it. There's only 10 million of it.
That's
You see what I'm
awesome.
saying?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
because we can't inflate it because we're not a chain, we can't keep the price down. If you want, there's still ways to get it without buying, right? Like we have a huge allocation put aside. 50% is all for participation, right? So just owning Gravedigger NFTs, um, using minting, creating B assets. There's a list. There's a soul paper that maybe I can find it for you. I'll send you the link. I'll send you the link to the soul paper, and people can. It probably should be updated, but they'll give the general idea of what's to come, and it should have happened, but the market it just wasn't the right market, and we don't want to rush. Don't want to rush. I don't want to rush and hurt anybody. Right now, yeah. So right now, the Skeleton Punks manage the Terror Gravedigger. The Galactic Syndicate manage the Injective Gravedigger. The Mad Scientists manage the Osmosis Gravedigger.
I got you.
We're about to get the mint ready for the Chihuahua Gravedigger. Right, Lord. I don't know if you know Lord Ginge.
I do not.
He's an artist. He's an artist. He created art, and we're getting ready to do the Chihuahua Gravedigger. These are the four active gravediggers right now, and there was the Migaloo whales, right? So we're not going to discount them, right? But they're not a gravedigger anymore because everything's winding down on Migaloo, right? But by holding these collections, this will qualify you, and or part of the soul drop for buying and selling NFTs. Doesn't have to be a gravedigger. Any NFT on Backbone Labs, if you're trading on Backbone Labs, we're snapshotting and we're counting like the trading of what's occurring, and that's another way you'll earn soul. There's a lot of ways to get this. When we finally do it, we're gonna give over 50% of it away.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
because you know what? Because we think that the people who are getting it, because if you've been with us on this journey, if you're like a real user and you're participating, you're buying and selling these NFTs on our platform, and you're holding these B assets, auto compounding with us, supporting the NFT community, like these are the people that we want to reward, right? Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
and because we're not a foundation, we're not a chain, or we're not, some big guys. We're just guys who we were retail, and we thought we could do a better job and treat people better than how we were being treated when we were doing it, when we were participants, right? And so it's kind of led us to just try something different, and that's all you can do, right? You got to swing. If you don't swing, you ain't gonna ever hit.
That's true. That is true. That is
Gotta
true.
get in the pool to get wet.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's for sure. Man, this has been a fun interview, man. I enjoyed talking with you. This has been awesome. All right, guys. So there you have it. That's JG from Backbone Labs. I do want to remind everyone that this is not financial advice. We do not give financial advice to anyone. This is simply a research tool. Use this to continue your research. Crypto is risky, so you can lose everything you put in. So make sure you finish out and do your research. Thank you for tuning in. All the links will be in the show notes. Y'all have a good night.